Day 14 on Pulau Tiga, and overnight the island's been hit by the most severe weather so far. The storm clouds are increasing again this morning, and so is the tension on the beaches, with both tribes now down to just 6 people. While alliances might ensure an individual's survival at tribal council, they can also lead to recriminations.
How's it doing, Eve? Eve?
Yeah, we're doing okay. We just need sort of fairly close monitoring. What, the rice? The fact that Sarah was voted off was a complete shock to myself, and I have no doubt that it was a shock to Sarah as well. We were both duped by a couple of others within the tribe, Richard and Jackie, but Sarah's away from them now, and I've got to live with them, and I can't stand the sight of them. I owe you nothing, Jackie. I don't have to be nice to you anymore. I don't like you. So, you know, I'm not going to bother making the effort anymore.
I know Eve's furious, but I can picture her face day before yesterday when she was about to dump you, saying, "It's just a game." You know, and yeah, it's a game when you're winning. It's personal when you're losing.
Richard wanted an alliance of which of a core 3 of Sarah, myself and him. And it now is quite clear that he only wants an alliance as long as he is in command of it, and we all bow down to what he says. And the instant that Sarah and I started to question who should we actually vote off, he turned tails and you know, stitched us both up.
Both I and Jackie turned our backs on the alliance, and Sarah went, which, you know, didn't sit too well with me, because I sort of quite liked Sarah, but she was, you know, I think she was getting a bit carried away with the alliance and trying to her and Eve were trying to control it.
What yesterday has taught me is about not only Richard and Jackie, but my concern over Zoe and the fact that she's an actress, and would I be duped by her and her acting abilities? And the answer is yes, I was. She did an absolute Oscar-winning performance yesterday of the realist, "I'm going home, it's been lovely to know you all," and things like that. And I fell for it, hook, line and sinker. And I'm gutted with myself that I did. But I've learnt a lesson from it, and I've got another opportunity now. And again, I'll never believe a word she says to me.
Eve told me yesterday she voted me off because I was an actress, and therefore she couldn't tell if I was playing a role or not. Which I thought, sweetheart, if I was any sort of actress, you think I'd be here being bitten to death by sand fleas? No, I'd be on tour somewhere in England, in my changing room with a large gin and tonic saying, "Wasn't I marvellous?" This, you know, don't worry, I'm not that good.
If you have got to be a really nasty piece of work to win that £1 million, I'd rather go home poor and happy and a nice person than be a complete and win it.
After 2 weeks on the island, Halang's thoughts are also turning to home, to family and to friends.
That's a bit grey, damp and miserable today, isn't it? It's like being at home, really.
So what would you usually be doing at home now?
What day is it?
Saturday.
If I wasn't working, I would have gone downstairs, cuddled my dogs and cats, got myself some cornflakes and freezing cold milk and a cup of tea, got all my letters, gone back up to bed with all my animals, got back into bed, ate my cornflakes, drunk my tea and gone back to sleep again.
What do you do? What do they do first thing?
Saturday morning, sometimes I'll pick up my mobile from the floor and ring my own house.
You lazy shit!
So ask my mum if she's making any breakfast, if she can make me some too.
Adrian, that is Adrian.
Is anyone surprised?
No, we are not surprised.
Sometimes at the weekends as well, when I'm really hungover or dead in bed, she brings up breakfast, which is really nice. So she does do quite a lot for me. Whereas here I have to do it for myself. Although Charlotte acts a little bit like my mum, because she comes and wakes me up and says, "Oh, I've just made some rice if you want some." She takes the role.
I've got 5 kids, 4 boys and a little girl, and yeah, I miss them very badly indeed. I have a lot of faith in my family, and I love them very, very much. So they're like a foundation stone. They're a sort of a bedrock, if you like, which means that I can come here because I'm so secure at home. So I don't see that just because I love them so much and I miss them a lot. It actually makes me stronger, not weaker.
I'm missing my son very badly. I'm going to start crying in a minute. And I have learnt about myself that although I always have been very competitive and a huge fight in me, that motherhood has sort of taken over really. And that is the first thing in my life now. And although it's been such a huge adventure here and I've loved it, I want to be with my son.
Today's reward challenge takes place beneath the surface of the South China Sea with its coral, sea snakes and cuttlefish. Right, well, welcome to today's reward challenge. I'm glad to see you've all weathered the storm last night. You're back in the water today for what we're calling the ABC of survival. On the ocean floor there are around 40 letters. I need you, one at a time, to dive down and retrieve a letter. Bring it back, hand it to your colleague on the raft, who'll place it in the tray. You can dive as many times as you like, but every member of the tribe must dive at least once. It is a relay, so you cannot go until the other tribe member is back and the letter is on the tray. You have to pick up in all 8 letters. Once a tribe has picked up 8 letters, I will start the 30-second count. You will then have that 30 seconds to form a word. The tribe that doesn't have 8 letters can continue in that 30 seconds to dive down to retrieve their 8 letters. Is everybody clear? Okay, could the divers get into the water holding onto the raft, please? Divers ready? Begin. Go! 30 seconds starts now. Seconds. 3, 2, 1, finish. Halang have 6 letters. Ula have 4 letters in their word. Halang, this is your reward challenge. Just to explain the ABC, A is for alphabet spaghetti, B is for beer, C is for chocolate. Although the storm clouds continue to gather, nothing can dampen Halang's spirits after winning their third challenge in 4 days.
Chocolate beer. Chocolate beer.
When you go back behind the raft, that wasn't it.
Oh my God! Here it goes! Oh my God! Quick, right, so let's have a strip each. You break that.
How many, Kat? How many you having?
How many are you having?
I've got
Yeah.
5 squares. Boy, that tastes good.
Oh! Are you trumping for it? Did you like it?
Great.
This
I'm going to have mine.
is
but
the
I'm not gonna do it
nicest
now.
thing. Are you mad?
What is it,
No,
a line
wait.
each, is it?
It is real chocolate.
What is it, line each?
Heaven.
Oh,
Goodness.
I am absolutely in ecstasy. I've still got it in my mouth. I'm not speaking.
That's good. We're going to watch, Charlotte. We're going to have to guard that chocolate in the night.
You're gonna have to guard it. I'll guard it. Jane and I'll
sleep
guard
with the
it.
chocolate.
2 miles along the coast on Ular Beach, the disappointment can only be expressed by discussing their opponents, possibly to avoid turning on each other.
That was disappointing.
Who needs chocolate? Chocolate. God, she's some gobbler though, isn't she? What? Imagine being trapped on a beach with that. Is her name Charlotte? Yeah. Bikini Babe we call her anyway. She seems to have a large wardrobe of various spangly bikinis. And she's incredibly loud. Incredibly loud. I just have a dislike of incredibly loud people. Anywhere. I'm not being funny, but after a few weeks of that, I'll be like, right, love, you and I are going to go and have a little swim out to sea, and I'm going to come back. Cosmic Babe, Bikini Babe. She talks very loudly all the time. It's like, oh my God.
Oh, I'm just gonna have to lie down after all that excitement.
You're going to lie down with that piece of foil.
Who's going to do the horrible thing later on?
I'll do that.
I'll run and hide him.
Charlotte, you should get
I
the
don't
chicken out
care.
first and
I'm
calm it
sorry.
down.
I will pedal it.
If you take it out first and talk to it, then it won't suspect anything.
No, it won't, because I'm the nice.
Yeah, and then you can hand it to me and I'll stroke it then.
What I do is
conversation
its
till the
head is
chocolate's
slightly
all out
bigger
of
than the
my
neck, so you can hook both fingers round the neck like that, and then it's you have to pull it very, very hard.
This one's so nice, this ginger one. We can't do it.
Well, look, give them counselling. Give that one counselling before we go, yeah?
He knows, look. He knows.
Give him counselling.
Right.
Probably going to be
You
scared.
know when you
as
come to
pie.
my house,
He's alright,
when
he's
you
calmed
come,
down. He's
Charles,
fine.
Can you put him in here?
Charlotte,
You've got to hold him quite tightly.
Yeah, I'm not used to handling animals.
Charlotte.
It was second chicken's time to go today. And I just felt that it's something I ought to do because I've eaten chicken all my life, but I've never actually killed a chicken. So I just think, for once in my life, if I'm going to eat chicken, I should actually kill it myself.
James is not only capable of killing, but at times he seems quite eager to kill. I think we should rename him the Terminator.
And Andy just said you've got to actually pull it a lot harder than you think. So I twisted his neck and I pulled it really hard, but his head came off. But at least it didn't suffer very much.
Charlotte wasn't very impressed when I said, can we borrow your eyebrow tweezers? Don't tell her where those eyebrow tweezers have been, for heaven's
Up the
sake.
chicken's bum.
That'll do until the fire's burnt down, won't it?
Yeah.
Once you've got the embers, then we can roast it much more effectively.
The weather is changing, but after a good chicken meal, Halang's spirits are buoyant, and neither tribe has any idea of the ferocity of the storm now approaching the island.
I'm gonna take you, girl, and hold you. Do all the things I told you in the midnight hour. Oh yeah, yeah, in the midnight hour.
On your marks, get set. Woo!
Early part of this morning, after quite heavy rain all night, somebody got up and realised that there's a likelihood that our actual tent could be flooded. All of those big logs down there all coming down the swamp and floating along, wiped away all of the bank. We're cut off from all of our toilet area and everything like that. And all the snakes have been washed out of the swamp and coming up the beach and hiding under our wood pile. The wood pile's almost nearly been washed away. So it's a bit of a bad night all in all, really.
Although Ula's camp has been washed away, Halang's is still intact. However, they spent an uncomfortable night and no one slept properly, which doesn't bode well for possibly their toughest immunity challenge to date.
We haven't slept a wink all night.
It was just one of those nights, wasn't it, where it wasn't raining, then it was raining, then you try and get dry for all of a second, and then it starts raining again.
These are items of clothing which I started wearing, which are now I could wring out because they are that wet.
So was it dripping on you all night, Jane?
It wasn't too bad, I can't really complain. It was very wet on the outside, but you know, I just got to near to Andy as I possibly could. And my feet were wet, but I've had worse.
I've had worse nights?
Yeah, well that night we came back from the
Tribal Council. No, that was worse, wasn't it?
It was so wet to begin with.
Yeah, we actually were soaking that night. The chickens weren't covered, were they? They were out in that last night.
Poor chick.
Well, the chick in.
Chicken.
Only one left.
We've been eating very well. We've been very, fortunate in the reward challenges. We've been eating chicken. We've had chocolate last night, spaghetti. So we're feeling very strong. And also, comparing our physiques with the physique of the other tribe, we just think we're very well placed for any physical challenge. But today is very important. The danger for us is either complacency or we get disqualified or do something stupid. That really is, as I see it, the only danger for us today.
Instantly reminds me of Warwick and home.
Yeah.
Tea time.
It's a very important challenge today. We're quite confident, I think, because we think that physically we should be able to do it. So I think the main thing we've got to worry about is not being overconfident and not making any stupid mistakes.
The Halang tattoo.
Halang.
Okay, Halang, Jane, it's time to take that from you, I'm afraid. Very much indeed. Right, well, let's turn now to today's immunity challenge. You've been on the island now for some 2 weeks and you've had some pretty tough challenges, but I think you'll find today's challenge, the jungle assault course, perhaps the toughest yet. You're going to need all your stamina and strength and determination to get through this one. And one of the crucial things is to choose the 5 people who are going to take part, tailoring their talents to the actual leg of the assault course. And there are 5 legs. The first leg requires you to dig under a fallen tree before tagging your colleague. For the second leg, you cross the balance beam. If you come off, you go back to the start. Then up the sheer muddy cliff face before tagging your partner at the aerial platform. In the third leg, you cross high above the jungle canopy using your hands and feet to negotiate your way. Unclip and haul yourself back up with your head breaking through the foliage before tagging your colleague. The fourth leg involves climbing down the cargo net, breaking through the wind chimes, climbing up to the splash pool, going under 2 fallen logs before hitting the stone and returning the same way. Then sprint to your 5th colleague. On that leg you swing across a gully and then it's over the first 2 trees and under a third before sprinting the final stretch to claim the immunity idol. So can you choose the 5 members who are going to tackle this challenge, please? Well, hopefully you've chosen wisely, you've chosen your tribe's talents well. Would those who are running the first leg of this assault course please go to the start? Nick, are you ready? Simon, are you ready?
Yep.
Survivors, go!
Go on!
something. Come on, keep it in, Rick. Come on, AD, you can do it. Come on, Rick. Every second. Nothing! 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 Take it steady! Get to them! Nothing! Nothing, guys! Do it! Stop it up! Try it! Come on! Do it well! Keep going! Come on, Pete! That's it!
and that is that at the start both tribes were told that at the splash pool you had to go under both logs, touch the rock, and come back under both logs. Unfortunately, James, you went under one, over the other. Consequently, Halang, you are disqualified. And Ula, immunity is yours. Halang, I will see you at Tribal Council tomorrow night. Halang must be devastated, having had victory snatched away from them at the last minute, especially with one person's mistake affecting the whole tribe.
I screwed up again. For the second time. I accept that I was explaining the rule, I accept that, but I didn't take it in. I must have been at the back of the group. We were showing it as a group, like 12 of us. But you know, if you mess up on the rules, you lose. It's simple.
It's the sort of thing that happens, isn't it, in top athletes?
Well, thank you for that, Jane, but
Well, it's true,
I ain't
James.
a top athlete.
Well, then you're entitled to make even bigger mistakes.
They've all been very good about it, actually, but I've definitely let them down. I feel like I'm living on borrowed time, for sure. I'm sorry, Jane. I just tucked today, that's all.
This boy. You're wonderful.
Thank you, Jane.
Stop it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'm extremely disappointed, not just for the team, but my own performance. You know, I picked a difficult job for myself, but even so, I did it with some confidence that I might do a little better than in actual fact I did. I guess it shows how much I care about this game, and it also shows how much I care about the people that I'm with, because I'm really not looking forward to Tribal Council tomorrow at all. You know, and that is the biggest downside for me.
Welcome home. Welcome.
Superb.
Well done, guys.
Yeah, it's an excellent result. Fantastic that we're not going to Tribal Council again. I think that would really split the group if we had to go again. Everyone's really, really in a good mood now, and I think we'll go out in a minute with the nets. Hopefully we'll be able to bring some fish in. If not, we've just got rice dinner tonight. Or we might have coconut as well, but I don't think there'll be any complaints because everyone's really dead chuffed. You're dry when you wake up in the morning. I'm soaking wet.
Bloody soaking wet, miss making L in the flipping bed.
Look, you snuggled right up to me last night.
Did
Don't
I?
pretend you
Don't
didn't.
give me that rubbish. You're just trying to get me back for the flipping cutching you did the other night. You're not going to get one on me.
Look, snuggle boy. I told you I fancy Pete, not you.
Look, limpid girl. I was on Pete at the time. So for the reward challenge, we're going to set Jackie up to insult the entire team within 30 seconds.
Do you know what? I thought I'd actually been quite nice to all of you lot since I've been here. I've put a ban on my sharp tongue.
Have you?
Have I not done very well?
We haven't noticed.
Yeah.
I reckon your tongue's sharper than that axe. Or is it just the way you use the axe?
Without the pressure of voting decisions hanging over them, Ula can simply relive the experiences of the assault course and its aftermath.
I'm alright, thanks.
Stick some feet. Thanks, darling.
Did everybody feel it was a bit, when we suddenly won, it was almost emotional?
Yeah. Emotional. I struggled not to cry.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing at that
I think
point.
because we'd actually got to know them today.
Yeah.
Well, basically, we are the same, we're very much similar, aren't we? Even though we don't see each other and we just think of them as the enemy.
The enemy.
Yeah, they're very much the same as the same situation.
It was actually really nice to sit and talk to them for ages today.
I felt gutted for James.
I felt gutted for Charlotte.
I wasn't gutted that they lost, so that it was quite sad for them. I just felt really emotional about winning.
Strange, wasn't it?
I was beside myself. I didn't know whether to scream, cry.
It was like absolute relief and delight and disappointment for them all in one go. All 10 people put in so much that whoever won, there was going to be enormous disappointment. Do you know what I mean?
My thoughts about voting this evening, there are two candidates. One is Adrian, who has, in my mind, never been quite so committed as the rest of the people in the tribe. In fact, I think the only way Adrian could survive on this island on his own is if McDonald's decided to open here. The second person I'm very sad to say is Jane, because obviously the final tribal immunity challenge will be absolutely crucial for us. And it may be that Adrian could provide more for the team in those few minutes than Jane. I haven't made my mind up yet. It's going to involve a lot of soul searching, and it may even be that I'm at tribal council before I make my final decision.
I think Charlotte, out of the whole tribe, is quite a big bugbear for me. I think Charlotte will really try and get me voted off.
Jane the Pain, I've called her. Hopefully she'll be going tonight. I'm certainly going to be voting for her. She's driven me insane since the minute I jumped off the boat. She disagrees with every single thing I say, just for the sake of it, I'm sure. I'm not an argumentative person at all, and I won't pick a fight with anyone, and I won't cause any problems whilst I'm here on the island. In fact, I'll bend over backwards to try and get on with people. And I feel like I've done that with Jane, but she's pushed me to the limit.
I think she's very devious and clever. And she uses her... well, I mean, she's playing the game probably a lot better than I am. She uses her attractiveness to keep in touch with the men, I think, and to bring them on her side, and on several occasions I've seen it work absolutely perfectly.
She's obviously the oldest woman here. I don't know if she's got a chip on her shoulder about it, but she's called me an old woman 4 times now. An annoying old woman, a stupid old woman, a silly old woman, and she's also called me a dog.
I wouldn't be surprised if anybody voted me off, because I do deserve to have some kind of punishment for my error of my ways yesterday. I relived that run probably 30, 40, 50 times in the night, every single bit of it. It's like going over in my head again and again and again until eventually I fell asleep. In truth, I think Adrian deserves to go next, because he's quite good in the challenges, but he just does nothing around the camp. Nothing. Very, very little. So I think Adrian definitely deserves to go next.
Whoever is voted off still has to trek through the jungle for an hour and a half one last time before facing their final tribal council. Well, Halang, you were the comeback kids, weren't you? 5 losses out of 6, and then you rallied. But I guess this is a comeback you didn't really want, coming back to Tribal Council, where one of you is about to be voted off. But let's first look at the extraordinary events yesterday. Simon, what did you think when you saw Charlotte come out of the jungle with the immunity idol in her hand?
Obviously, it was a feeling of delight, exuberation. I was proud.
And then when it was taken away from you?
I don't even know what the word is. I mean, gutted doesn't even describe exactly how I felt. I mean, obviously I was amazed, shocked, disappointed, angry, frustrated. Too many words to mention, really.
James, it's been a pretty difficult night for you.
Yeah. I mean, yesterday I thought, well, I thought actually it was a very cheap trick that you played on us. And frankly, I expected something of higher quality from a man like you.
What do you think now about what happened then?
It happened. It was a mistake. I didn't fully comprehend the rule, and it happened.
Do you feel vulnerable because of what happened?
I should do.
Do you?
I said I should do. Stop asking dumb questions.
Isn't listening part of the challenge?
Yeah, that's right. I accept that.
All right. Andy, the 2 tribes merge after the next tribal council. Do you think Halang will be strong enough when that day comes?
We will have 5 members at tribal merger, no question.
Adrian, could you start the voting, please?
Never really fitted in.
Jane has some great qualities, but her motherly instincts are probably a higher priority to her right now, above her commitment to finishing the job that we've already started.
Very lazy about the camp, and I think if he was in the island on his own, he would have either starved to death by now or been frightened to death.
Right, Halang, you are 6. You will soon be 5. I will count the votes. Adrian. Jane. 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 Jane, could you collect your torch and bring it to the stand, please? Jane, as you know, fire represents your life on this island. Your life on this island has come to an end. Could you extinguish your flame, please? The tribe has spoken, Jane. You have to leave. rest of you, could you take your torches, return to your camp, and I'll see you tomorrow.
The names of the first 15 viewers who'll be going to London with Julian as part of our Watch to Win competition are now on the UTV website, and you can join them by entering the competition online or by phone 24 hours a day. Stay with us now for ITN and UTV Live.
As much as I enjoyed the adventure and the challenges, my little boy kept coming into my mind, and I miss him terribly, and that's really where my heart lies.
Be proud, Jane. Be very proud. You've come so far since we paddled ashore 15 days ago. Don't underestimate your achievement. And Warwick, you're a very lucky boy.
I think that there was a bit of a personality clash between Charlotte and myself. Never quite worked out why.
Mainly because she can't dive, and I feel there may be another swimming challenge, and also because she keeps calling me a stupid old woman.